My name is Jim Duff. This is my wife, Gina. I guess we're your typical Canadian travelers who like to travel to a little bit out of the way places. And Turkey in this late fall of 2017 is maybe a little bit of a challenge to travel internationally, or more perceived as more challenging. But it's a wonderful place. It's a great time to be here with lesser crowds. And we've thoroughly enjoyed our stay in Turkey. And we're about to leave, and we're sorry to do that. Although we're tired from the traveling, this has been one tremendous trip.
Yes, it has been. We've loved Turkey. We've loved the Turkish people. They were friendly and nice, and loved everything that we saw.
So which places?
Oh,
For example,
goodness.
You've been there 2 weeks, I think. 2 weeks.
2 weeks in all.
Full 15 days, yes, yes.
Started in Istanbul, and we spent, 4 days in Istanbul, and then traveled to Troy, visited Troy and Pergamon,
Ephesus.
We went to Kusadasi and Bodrum.
Antalya.
Antalya.
Pama,
Then we went to Konya.
before we did Pamukkale, Pamukkale,
Pamukkale.
Pamukkale.
Yes.
Aphrodisias. We
Yes.
stopped on the way to visit Aphrodisias. Just a tremendous place. But if we take it in order, the Istanbul and the Hagia Sophia mosque, church, whatever you want to call it, it's just staggering. When the architecture and the age of the building are something to marvel about. The Blue Mosque is also very interesting, very, very impressive. But I was taken by Hagia Sophia, its age and its history and its meaning throughout history and the early development of the church. So it was very impressive.
Yeah, and Istanbul, just a beautiful city by the water. Just
So your highlight is Hagia Sophia.
Hagia Sophia
Yes.
in
Mine too, I
Istanbul.
think.
Yeah.
yeah, it's a beautiful church. It's
And about
impressive
the
to
ancient
see.
sites, which one is?
There, there's so many. There's so many. We've seen so many, and you've pointed so many along the way. But in order, when you talk to us, Artunga, when you talk to us about in Troy, when we saw the walkway or the ramp up to the gates of the city, and then you told us we were looking out what used to be the ocean or the sea, and there was the island, and we could just picture the Trojan horse being wheeled up.
Yeah.
And we could imagine the Greek navy just on the other side of the island, waiting for the Trojan horse to be wheeled up, and the oracle saying, "You should not bring this in." And it was the site is very evocative. The Trojan myth, story, legend, story, or whether it's true or not, or 100% true or partially true, is very strong in the Western culture, and it comes home so well with the description by a good guide, of course, and also the recent history with the archaeologists finding gold and running away. It's very, very good site. That was great.
And I think my highlight was Ephesus for sure. It's just beautiful. I love to see the Hadrian's Temple, and of course the highlight is
The library.
the library. That's beautiful. Just to see it there, it's
And
the houses too. The houses that have been restored that was very, very interesting.
And the sheer history from the Amazons throughout the
Yes.
Greek period, and then how the Romans, Hippodamus, who first put out these concepts of architecture and urban planning, all that brought home this evolution over time, and how a site that had good logistics would be redeveloped through many ages. It's very interesting.
So if you love history and old civilizations,
That's good.
Yes.
You remember Prien, the theater, small theater with the seats. Also interesting site.
Yes, the theater was so well reconstructed. We saw a lot of theaters. This one was it was huge, and it was very interesting, very nice to see. It's not something we hear about, but when you go there, and it's just another one of those sites that you pointed out to us that were staggering and we never hear about in North America, that aren't popularized or publicized. Very interesting.
And the fountain, Sagalassos.
The fountains
Well,
were beautiful.
Yeah, but
This-
Aphrodisias, we can't go by Aphrodisias without mentioning the stadium, where you can just imagine the races going on, and it's so well kept. You know, it's really
the stadium and the pool.
The
The pool was
pool.
impressive.
If only
the
we'd gotten
size
to
of it.
see the bottom drawings on it, it would have been even.
The mosaics,
One
yeah.
day the tourists will be able to see that, and the tetrapylon. Tetrapylon.
Tetrapylon.
Tetrapylon.
Tetrapylon.
Aphrodisias.
And the fact that they buried the architect so close is nice touch. You know, in Turkey, it's a nice touch. But the tetrapylon itself is very beautiful, very well put back together.
And the last thing is, I think, Sagalassos. They're driving
Oh
to the
yes,
mountain. Nice location.
Yeah,
very nice.
Gina loved that one.
I like that one very much. That's where we saw the fountain.
the
that was-
4,000-year Greek fountain,
Yes,
and the 3,000-year Roman fountain, still flowing down from the mountain, and the position of the temple most of the way up the mountain and overlooking the village is very impressive.
that was beautiful.
Yeah.
And we don't hear about it, but it was very impressive.
Yeah.
Anything else if you want to add? That's it.
Cappadocia is is a story unto itself. It's the story of the early church. It's the story of human ingenuity of early Christians trying to survive,
Building homes.
building
in
homes
the
in the caves, and how even today the Turkish people have managed to maintain these caves, and they've built hotels or converted the caves to hotels.
Yeah,
It's
ingenuity.
magnificent, and the scenery here is out of this world. It's a photographer's dream. Very,
Yes.
very evocative, very picturesque. There's no better word than picturesque.
So overall, 2 weeks, you're happy.
Yes.
That's 2 weeks.
It's been a very filled with history. 2 weeks. It's beautiful. Everything that we've seen, the buildings, the ruins. It was very impressive.
We've learned a lot. We've learned about the different periods, Ionian and Hellenistic and
Byzantine.
and Pax
Ottoman.
Romana. And it helps us put in order all of the classical history that we've learned. But we've also learned that Turkey has so much more potential to develop their sites. And I think we have to be grateful to the Austrians for having spent so much money and fixing up Ephesus. But there's so much more to be done, and Turkey's so rich in ruins.
Yeah, I think
It's
there's more to be
staggering.
discovered.
Yeah. Half of it hasn't been uncovered, or less than half of it has been uncovered. But whatever we see is already very impressive, and so much more than we ever give credit to Turkey for being. It really is. So, I'm sure that spending a little bit of money by the Turkish government whenever they can, in 20, 30 years, our kids will come back and they will have even much more to see.
Yeah, I think there's going to be more sites that discovered.
And we've learned a lot about the early Christian period, because Turkey is the center of it, and we know very little about it. So it was very eye-opening towards a lot of the very central events to the early church and the apostles.